Hey everybody! Have you ever felt like God was luring you into a new direction to attempt something that you've never done before? And when He does that, He doesn't always give you the details, but He gives you clues here, and then it gives you something to do for your next step, and you take that step, and then He gives you another clue, and then a step, and then another clue. So the way that God works is such a beautiful, creative way of getting us to do something that He really wants us to do, but sometimes He has to take us with baby steps. And so I'm going to talk about faith to transition in this video. And in my own journey, God has been leading me over the last 2 years into a transition that's about to happen now. And so just listen up. So on this journey, God began to take me just step by step. It first began with a dream. In this dream, when I tell you all I dreamt was the word go. And I felt like I dreamt that the whole night. It's the word go. It was in signs and it was in words and it was like the letters just popping up in my vision, like go, go. The whole dream was the word go. So that started it. So when I woke up the next morning, I had to write it down and say, okay, go. Not sure what it means, God, but got you. And then, so not only did He give me a dream, some months after that, all of a sudden, this California girl, blue skies, sunshine, palm trees, all of a sudden, I started having the desire to move somewhere else. I can only attest that to being God kind of luring me in this direction He wanted me to go in. Then I went to church one Sunday, and I was ministering. And as I was ministering, just in a prophetic flow, God began to speak to me about the Red Sea and how the Red Sea is parted in front of you, that all you have to do is go through it. Like, it's already parted, go. What do we look like standing in front of a Red Sea and just be like, oh, I'm waiting for God to show me my way out? He's giving you direction, go for it. So that was what God began to speak to me as I was speaking it to the people in service. God reminded me later, He's like, that's for you. Like, hear what we're saying, Then after that, I go April 2019 to the Altar Conference in Fresno. I bring 2 sisters with me, and we go to this conference. And then the last service with Heidi Baker, we were sitting there, and it was a time of prayer and just pressing into the presence of God. Like, one of those just all out, like you can sit on the floor, do whatever you want, but you're pressing into His presence. So in this time when I'm pressing into God's presence, I saw this vision. And in this vision, God began to speak to me the words go. When He said go, He showed me a vision of a map. And in this map, it was me and this tree in California. And I had my arm around this tree. And God, His hand came in, uprooted me, and dragged me across the map. I didn't know where I landed. So now I'm at this conference, and God brings that word again, go. For the first time, I knew that God was literally telling me it's time to move. Now, when I tell you, I've always been said that, I belong in California. But God literally, He was like, no, it's time to move. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid. So in this moment of prayer, when He showed me this vision, I told God, I said, Father, wherever you want me to go, if it's just you and I am willing to go with you. If it's a crazy adventure, I don't care what it is, I am willing to go wherever you want me to go. I get back home to San Diego the next week. 7 days later, I show up to service at our church, and our pastor at the end of service speaks to me, looks at me directly, and says, when God told you to go, you go. Crazy. I just couldn't help but cry because I knew God was confirming His word to me, that He literally was speaking to me, that it's time to move. And I don't know about anyone else, but it's so comforting knowing that God is confirming His direction and His instruction for you. I don't ever want to move outside of His will. I want to know that this is what He wants me to do. So without telling anyone what He showed me in that vision, within 7 days, He confirms what He spoke to me, saying that it is time to go. He confirmed it through my leadership, letting me know that, yeah, this is God. It's time to go. So, after that, I'm like, okay, God, where are we going, though? I'm ready. I'm willing. Where are we going? So I just kind of felt like I was, like, spinning a map, And then maybe a few weeks later, God wakes me up in the middle of the night, around 3 o'clock in the morning. And I began to pray, and He instructed me, look up some Christian schools. So I was like, God, I did that before. I went to a Christian university, and all right. So I began to look up Christian schools, and he highlighted to me one school in particular, a school that, honestly, in my mind, if I ever picked the best Christian university that I would want to attend, this would be the one. So I applied. I applied to the school while I'm, there in the middle of the night. And then after I applied, I looked into their school some more, and I saw that they have a scholarship coming up. And the scholarship was called the Whole Person Quest Scholarship. So I was like, hey, why not apply? So I applied for the scholarship, and I saw on their calendar, the school's calendar, that the next event wasn't until September. So here I am in May. I said, hey, the event's in September, I'm gonna apply and see what happens. So I apply for it. Within a few days, I get a call from the admissions counselor, and they told me that for the first time, they're having this event in the summer for the scholarship within 2 weeks. So I was like, interesting. All right, I'll be there, because the only way to be considered is if you attend this event. So I went to this event, and when I tell you that nothing went right, according to what I thought was supposed to happen, I get there, the interviewer who was supposed to interview me, their system wasn't working to ask me the questions that they were supposed to ask. So we just talked. Cool. Prayed after. The next part was an essay, timed essay writing session. I had to write 7 essays. I like to write, so in the timed segment, I think I wrote way too much in the first 3 essays. So by the time I had 20 minutes left, I had 4 more essays to write. Needless to say that those were short. Okay? Last one, I was like, I ran out of time. But this is, my idea about this question, and I think it was 1 sentence to answer the prompt. And so after that, had a little lunch and all that stuff. I flew home, and I told God, if this is what you want from me, you'll make it happen, because nothing went right, really, according to my standard. About 2 weeks later, I received a call. Not only was I accepted to this school, but I also received a full scholarship to attend this school. God did that. But when he did it and how he did it was just a test to obeying his instruction along the way. Each clue that he gave me, moving on it, each clue, moving on it, each clue, moving on it, and it created an outcome where God can be glorified in it. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you today that you have what it takes to do what God is telling you to do. You have the faith to move. You have the faith to transition. If God is calling you to something new, don't be afraid of the adventure. Trust God in the adventure. Get pleasure out of the journey, not in the outcome. And so I have to tell you all that as of August 8th, I am transitioning from San Diego to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I will be a whole person Quest Scholarship recipient at Oral Roberts University. And it's going down. So San Diego has been such a great place of growth for me. All my life I've been here, and God has planted seeds after seed after seed after seed in my life that have grown to these amazing trees with fruit that now God is saying, time to pick that up and go somewhere else. And I know where he's taking me. It's new soil, it's new territory, but God has something for me to do there, and he has something for me there. So I'm excited for this journey, and I encourage you to trust and listen to the clues that God gives you and act on them. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear keep you back. I've let fear keep me back from so many things, but I made a promise to God that I will trust him beyond what makes sense to me, beyond what I can see, because that's truly what faith is. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Before I made those steps, I didn't see what was going to happen, but I trusted God, and I trusted his love for me. Trust his love for me. Embrace trust, knowing that it's not necessarily about the destination as much as it is the journey. So, as my time in San Diego is coming to a close, I want to invite you to come and worship with me at Open Door Family Worship Center on August 3rd, 11 a.m. You're going to have a time of worship and just pressing into God and celebrating what he is doing. I want to encourage you to trust him. No matter what, trust him, because his plans for you are good. And it's going to be a good journey. God bless you, and I'll see you soon.